Rounding out our resume is our activities and community involvement section, which you'll see in our mock-up here has a gray background, and then followed by our computer skills down here on the bottom. You're going to notice that we didn't include a references section, and this is to ensure the privacy of our references on our live web page. So we are consciously eliminating or leaving out the references section on our digital portfolio for that reason. So let's jump over into our Dreamweaver, and so I need to locate the last section that I just finished up in the last tutorial, which would be our work experience section. And if I click on that bottom div tag there, a closing div tag right below my footer there, if I scroll up I can see where that starts in the content main wrap up there, and that's a white section. So I'm going to place my next div container right after that closing div tag, right after my work experience. On my line, it's line 122 there. So I'm going to hit the enter return key right after that closing div tag, and maintaining my clearing of sections here. I'm going to type in a left caret br class clear, just so I don't have any problems between sections here, and then enter return key. This is going to be the gray section, so I'm going to start with the div class of secondary content secondary gray. Let's see, where is that? Content secondary wrap is what I'm looking for, to wrap that whole section in that container. And make sure I get that right caret in there, and then enter return key left caret / and then I'm going to move my cursor up into that empty section that I left open there, and then tab in, and we're going to start with our div class, and this is going to be our resume contain gray section. Right caret, enter return key left caret / to close that out. Alright, and now I'm going to move my cursor up in the middle there, and then tab inside. We're going to start off with an H1 tag to put our heading in there for activities, and I'm going to use the ampersand symbol here. So I'm going to type in the ampersand and then select AMP for ampersand, and then community involvement, and then left caret / we're just going to do a simple list for this section. So I'm going to hit the enter return key after the H1, and then type in a left caret UL. We're going to use an unordered list, so hit the enter return key a couple times, left caret /, and then put your caret up or your cursor up into that next section, and then tab in, and then go ahead and start listing your activities and community involvement by typing in a left caret LI list item, and then left caret /. So I'm going to insert 3 of these. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy my tag here 3 more times. So I'm going to highlight that, Control C, Command C, enter return, and then Command V or Control V, those 2 more times. And then I'm going to place my cursor in that first tag and between those carets there, and I'll type in my first activity, which would be Crater High School. And since it's Crater High School and I'm naming the school and naming the whole name, I'm going to capitalize the whole thing. So it's Crater High School Varsity Track, comma, and then the date, 2017. And then my next activity, I'm going to place my cursor into the next tags there, and then Crater High School Honor Society, comma, and then say 2015 n dash, so ampersand ND, so I can select the n dash space 2017, and then maybe I've done some FFA, so place my cursor in between that last list tag there and type in Crater High School again, FFA, capitalize that, comma, and then 2015, and again the n dash ampersand ND for n dash space, and then 2017. And that's all I need to do for my activities and community involvement piece. And the next one I'm going to go on to will be my computer skills. And to do my computer skills, I'm going to use a table to set up 3 different columns. This gets a new, if you look at our mock-up here, this gets a new section with a white background. So I'm gonna go back to my Dreamweaver piece, and where I had just closed out that last div tag for my activities and community involvement, I'm going to place my cursor right at the end there, hit the enter return key, and then continuing on with my same idea of adding a break class of clear between each of these sections here. I'm going to do the same thing. Again, it's probably not necessary, especially after this section. It's just a pretty straightforward list, but not taking any chances here. I'm just going to go ahead and mark that with a clear piece, and then hit the enter return key. And this div container, to start us off to make the white, is a div class of content main wrap, just the content main wrap. That'll give us the white length of our page there that we're looking for, that we've used before, and the enter return key, left caret / and then place your cursor up in the middle there, tab in, and then left caret div class, and then this is going to be resume contain white, and right caret, and then enter return key, left caret / and then move your cursor up in there, and then tab in, and we're going to head this with a heading 1 again, and the heading 1 for this is going to be computer skills, and left caret / Okay, so then I'm going to hit the enter return key, so I have some space here, and we're going to insert our table. We're not going to do it with by typing it in. It's actually a little bit easier to use the Dreamweaver insert command to insert a table. It's just more time efficient rather than typing in the whole structure for a table. So I'm going to go up to the insert menu and select insert table. And we need to give this some basic properties here. The first one is we're only going to do this in one row, and we're going to do it in 3 columns, and the table width is going to be 940 pixels wide, the width of our page. And then we're doing a border thickness of 0, and cell padding and cell spacing also as 0. So when I click OK, it's going to insert my table structure for me, and so I don't have to type in all those tags one at a time. I do want to adjust the spacing though of this whole table. You'll notice that it placed the T-body and the TR and the T-body closing tags to the very left here, and I want to tab those in to indicate that these are nested inside of the table tag there. Okay, we're going to do a couple treatments here. You'll notice that, so each one of these, this is one row, this is a simple table for us. You know, when we get more rows and more columns, it becomes a lot more complicated in terms of our coding structure, but we're going to go ahead and do most of this in the code rather than in the design view here. You can do it in the design view, and it is a little bit easier sometimes to work with tables in the design view. I'm locating the first TD tag here, and I'm going to place my cursor right after the D, and what we're going to do is we're going to hit the space bar, and we're going to add the val vertical align property, so it looks like val align. So I'm going to type in just the V, and you're going to see it pop up right away, and I'm going to hit the enter return key and then select top from that. And next I'm going to go ahead and give this a width, so I'm going to press the space bar and type in width, and this is going to be, we're going to divide these evenly. It won't divide all the way evenly. The last cell will have to make 320 pixels versus 310, so the width of this is going to be 310. So I need to do the same thing for the rest of my TD tags here. So I'm going to place my cursor in there, spacebar, V align, top, and then width, and then 310. And then the last one, place my cursor in there, spacebar, val align, same thing, top, same thing, and then width. This time we're going to do 320 pixels to give us the exact dimensions all the way around. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and find that first cell and place my cursor right where it says and end space, and I'm going to hit the enter return key, and I'm going to hit it twice, and then I'm going to delete backspace out the and end space piece there. So that's going to set up my opening and closing tags for my table here. So I have a space in between that first TD, and I'm going to tab in, and I'm going to give this a heading. I'm going to use an H2 heading, and this is going to be for my advanced computer skills. and close that out with /, and then enter return, and we're going to use a list to list my computer skills. So left caret ul unordered list tag, enter return key left caret /, and then give yourself a space in between there, and then tab in, and then you'll have some list items, and I'm going to include 4 advanced skills here. So I'm going to copy my list item here 3 additional times and paste those in there. And the first one I'm going to type in is Windows 7 and 10. And my second advanced skill is going to be Microsoft Word. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight that I also know how to use Google Docs and Google Drive. Of course, you guys can go to town on these, as many as you see fit. Okay, so there's my advanced skills, and then I need to go down to my next column and do the same thing. So I'm going to find where that next column is, where I have the end space there. I'm going to go ahead and just delete out that end space real quick, highlight it and delete it, and hit the enter return key a couple of times. So then I have my spacing that I need, and tab in, and we're using an H2 tag for intermediate skills, and or proficient maybe. Let's go ahead and do proficient. I like that word, proficient. Okay, and I spelled that wrong. Profish, there we go. And right after that, enter return key, and then unordered list, left caret / or left caret ul, and then right caret, and then enter return a couple times, left caret /, and then move your cursor up, and then li, and I'm going to go ahead and include about 3 of these. So I'm going to just copy that line there 3 times, and this is where I'm going to highlight my Adobe Photoshop skills. And I'm going to go ahead and note that it's the Adobe Photoshop CC version, and perhaps I have some Adobe Illustrator skills, and maybe even some Adobe Spark skills. You might even put in there Adobe Dreamweaver as well. And you notice I'm using the CC version to indicate that I have the latest version of the Adobe suite under my belt. Okay, next, go to that 3rd column there, and I'm going to delete out that end space again, enter return key a couple times so I have a blank space to work with, tab in, and then left caret H2. I'm going to call this developing skills, and left caret /, and then enter return. And I'm going to open up a UL tag here, so left caret, right caret, and then enter return a couple times, left caret / to close that out. Move my cursor up, tab in, and I'm only going to highlight 2 developing skills. So I'm just going to go ahead and type in my li tag there, and I'm going to type in coding languages. Why not? You guys are doing some coding language, right? Some HTML and CSS. I'm going to go ahead and use the ampersand there. And then one more. After my cursor, hit the enter return key, li left caret /, move my cursor in between, and let's go ahead and highlight maybe Adobe After Effects or something like that I might have. Alright, and the beauty of this, these 2 sections is we've already styled all of these elements, so we don't need to actually go into our CSS style sheet and style them. So I'm going to go ahead and Control or Command S, maybe File, Save All just in case, and let's toggle over to our browser and refresh our design. Hit refresh there, and then scroll down and double check to see if I have any issues there. What's nice about using tables for things like this is that it's easy to plug in some text. It doesn't require a ton of coding, and allows us to edit these pretty easily later on. That rounds out our resume page. It's looking pretty slick. We are going to move on to our next page, which will be our education roadmap.